Okay, Black Phone 2. So, I'm here today to talk about a new film titled Black Phone 2. And in case you're still wondering what it is, in case you forgot about it, it is a sequel to Black Phone, a thriller film that came out in 2021, I believe. And it was a good time. It was a good one and done thing, alright? The killer's dead by the end of that movie. Grabber is no more. And when it comes to this sequel, I kept asking myself, why do they keep making sequels like this? Because by the end of the first film, the Grabber is no more. He's dead. He is killed. It's the end of the story. But when your first film made a lot of money, it's safe to assume that it's gonna get a sequel. And that is what it is. Black Phone 2 is an unnecessary sequel. What do you want to do in that sequel? Well, you turn the Grabber into Freddy Krueger. What I mean by that is that he's here, he's dead of course, now he's a ghost, and he's terrorizing people through their dreams. Now, the wounds, the damage in the dreams that he occurred translates into the real life. And now, the protagonist is not Mason Thames, the protagonist from the first film, This story now focuses more on his sister. His sister is having a lot of bad dreams regarding the Grabber and the missing kids, the ghost of the missing kids, and it leads them to investigate the disappearance of these children in a Christian camp. And, well, like I said, this is an unnecessary sequel, but I did not expect that, the first act, the first half of the movie is so slow. By the time they get into the investigation that occurs in the Christian camp, well, the investigation is kind of there, it doesn't go anywhere. And for the first half of the movie, the sister is just having a lot of bad dreams, and that's it. There's nothing more happening in the first half of the movie. And what makes it even more devastating is that the Grabber does not appear until like the last 40 minutes of the movie, and by that point, he's not the main focus of the movie. Alright, he's just there to scare you. That's it. He's just there to become the next Freddy Krueger or something. And that is the main problem. You're not giving the Grabber spotlight this time around, but there's also a sense that, the writers don't know what they're doing with the sequel. Because they're running out of ideas how to make this sequel. The killer's already dead, the story's over, it should have been a one and done film, but they're really trying their best to craft the sequel. And the result, I think, is a misfire. Because this is an unfocused sequel whatsoever. The Grabber's barely in it, and it is really slow, particularly the first act into the first half of the movie. Yes, there are some scares here and there, but they're very, very sparse and not effective enough to threaten you. Alright? But moving on to the performances. As I said before, the main lead here is the sister of the main character of the first film, played by Madeleine McGraw, and I thought she was amazing, She's a really good actress, and it really shows how the character that she's playing is really suffering herself through these dreams. She is devastated, horrified by these dreams, and she gives a believable performance to her character. She's amazing, alright? And with Mason Thames, I would position him as a co-lead in this film because the marketing focuses a lot on him, but when you see the movie, it is very clear that the main focus, the main character is his sister this time around, and that's okay. You know, he delivers a solid performance too as a co-lead into the film. And Ethan Hawke as the Grabber, even though he was barely in the movie in the first half, he is absent. Alright, he was absent in the first half of the movie, but when he is on screen, he's still terrifying. Even though he doesn't give you much of an active threat, you know, to these characters, because he's primarily terrorizing these characters through their dreams, particularly, you know, the sister's dream. And that's fine, but when he's on screen, the Grabber is terrifying. That being said, I think he was much better utilized in the first film, because in the first film, he was a physical presence and he is a constant threat. He was a constant threat in the first film, but in this one, he's barely in this. Alright, so if you're here expecting a lot of gory kills from the Grabber, you're gonna get it, but it's not as much as what you got in the first film. So, overall, I would give Black Phone 2 a 4 out of 10. I think this is an unnecessary sequel. It should have been a one and done thing. That being said though, I really like the wintry setting, the snowy setting that this film takes place on. It gives a fresh look into the movie. But if you're looking for a decent sequel, well, this is not a decent sequel. It is really a slow sequel, and it just did not need to exist in the first place. The Black Phone should have been a one and done thing, and that's it. So 4 out of 10. If you have seen Black Phone 2, tell me everything you like, everything you don't like. And I think the Grabber was better utilized in the first film. Do you agree with my opinion? Tell me everything, drop it in the comment section down below, and see you on the next video.